What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have got a lot to get caught up on. There is a lot of breaking news that has taken place, and this is your Build Back Better and stimulus check update. Now, first off, we're going to be covering a press briefing that President Joe Biden had yesterday, and things got intense. And one of the first things is, if you haven't heard, tensions have been rising with Ukraine and Russia and Europe, and we're hearing we're going to probably be involved in this, maybe sending over some troops, as there could potentially be war brewing. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage so you can hear it for yourself of this breaking news. Now, in addition to that, in that meeting, President Joe Biden got a little bit tense with some of the reporters, as we heard him say under his breath that one of them was, I'll let you see it for yourself, and I'll let you see the questions and everything like that. Now, in addition to that, President Joe Biden also called upon the Federal Reserve, letting us know, hey, we need more easing, more stimulus to help out with the economy. We're not out of this. We're dealing with inflation. And if we want to help this situation right now with our economy with inflation, we need to pass Build Back Better. And he is still pushing for that. Now, also, Congress, they're still working away on that. We're hearing there could be a name change. There could be a slimming down. Will that child tax credit make it into that Build Back Better bill? We will see. I will keep you up to date. But we're hearing in order for them to pass this through with the process of reconciliation in Congress, which means a majority vote in the House and in the Senate, that means that they got to get all Democrats who currently control everything to be unified to pass it through. And they got to get Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema to agree, and we will see what makes it in that bill. Now, I will keep you up to date on that, but let's take a look at the video footage and get you caught up as to what was said yesterday evening by President Joe Biden. Now, also wanted to mention that the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, if you're interested, I'll pin a comment down below. You can click it, go subscribe, turn on notifications. It's for anybody interested in growing wealth and personal finance, and it now has 2 videos up. I'm going to be getting the third one up as well to help out people during this time that are looking to change their financial situation. So if you're interested, like I said, comment is pinned down below. But you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on breaking news happening today. And let's start off by smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Just takes a second, helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here, you want to stay up to date, totally free. So why not smash the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got any specific questions for me, join me on Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, and let's start off with this tense moment between Biden and a reporter that happened yesterday.
The only reason I don't like doing this is you never report on why I've called a meeting. And this is really important. I had a very, very, very good meeting, total unanimity with all the European leaders. We'll talk about it later. Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think President on inflation? Do you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a...
There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. President Joe Biden giving a sarcastic remark saying, oh no, inflation's an asset. But just to give a little bit more context, I've got an article here, and it says that things kind of cleared up afterwards. Take a look. It says, appearing on Hannity later on Monday night, the reporter, Ducey, he said that the president called him approximately an hour after the exchange and said, it's nothing personal, pal. And when asked if President Biden apologized, Ducey said, he did clear the air, and I appreciate it. We had a nice call. And the White House has yet to comment on the president's remarks, but it sounds like they did clear things up. But without a doubt, yesterday, things were intense, and part of that is with all the tensions rising between Ukraine and Russia. And let me get you caught up on that as well. Take a look at this video footage, and then right after, we're going to be taking a look at more detail of President Biden's speech and what he had to say specifically on inflation and Build Back Better.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. There is a lot of news to get to on this Monday night, but we're going to begin with rising tensions in Ukraine and the threat of a possible Russian invasion growing by the minute. Here in Washington, President Biden held a video call with European allies this afternoon to discuss a common response to Russia's continued military buildup around Ukraine's border. NATO announced that it was putting forces on standby and is reinforcing Eastern Europe with more ships and fighter jets, a move that Russia denounced. And the Biden administration administration is considering whether to send several thousand U.S. troops and equipment to reinforce NATO. Meanwhile, the State Department has ordered the families of American diplomats to leave the country, and they've advised that non-essential American embassy personnel and private U.S. citizens should do the same. Also tonight, Speaker Nancy Pelosi wants a White House briefing on the Ukraine-Russia situation for Congress. So we have two reports tonight from here in Washington and from inside Ukraine. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is going to start us off from the White House. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Nora. A major shift in the White House's approach to the Russian standoff with Ukraine is now underway. While the president met with European leaders today to discuss a diplomatic solution, plan for new military deployments suggests much of Europe is now preparing for the possibility of a new war.
I had a very, very, very good meeting. Total unanimity with all the European leaders.
President Biden today consulted with European allies in the Situation Room, while readying thousands of U.S. troops for a possible mission in the region.
It's very clear that the Russians have no intention right now of de-escalating.
The Pentagon placed 8,500 troops stationed in the U.S. on alert, ready to deploy to NATO's eastern flank within days if the situation deteriorates.
We are not deploying them now. We are not saying diplomacy is dead.
But the administration ordered U.S. embassy families out of Ukraine and warned Americans not to travel to Russia, as Vladimir Putin sent more troops into Belarus, a possible invasion point, and carried out military exercises in the Baltic Sea. After this weekend, is he more or less concerned about the possibility of a Russian invasion of Ukraine?
He said last week that military action by Russia could come at any time. That remains his point of view.
The U.S. is hoping its own show of force would deter Putin. Fighter jets could be sent to NATO countries as well as warships. The USS Truman arrived in the eastern Mediterranean today for long scheduled exercises. But NATO is also bolstering defenses, with the Danish, French, and Dutch sending jets and troops. The president's threat of punishing sanctions if Putin invades
Russia will pay a heavy price.
Hasn't forced the Russian leader to pull back the nearly 130,000 troops on Ukraine's border. And with more of his forces going into Belarus, the administration has shifted tactics. What happened then in the last few days that prompted the Pentagon to present specific potential troop deployments to the president? Or put another way, why now?
I wouldn't say it's a response to an abrupt moment. It's a part of an ongoing contingency planning process and discussion.
Also tonight, the president was asked by a Fox News reporter whether rising inflation would be a liability in this year's elections. He gave this testy response as reporters walked out.
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son.
The administration likely to spend the next few days responding to all of that. Also tonight, the Department of Homeland Security is warning of a potential cyber attack against the U.S. if American and NATO forces respond to a Russian invasion of Ukraine. But U.S. officials say they see no sign of Moscow currently preparing any such attack.
So there you have it, you guys. Now that is taking place right now. That is developing, and I will keep you up to date on whatever unfolds. Now, in addition to that, like I mentioned, President Joe Biden had that speech and he discussed specifically on inflation and how Build Back Better needs to pass to help us ease some of these inflation issues, saying that this is going to be helping out the American people kind of get through this as we're still dealing with the pandemic. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what it was that he had to say. And as I mentioned, they're still working away on that Build Back Better bill to see if they can get this done. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Now, the second challenge we're facing are prices. COVID-19 has created a lot of economic complications, including rapid price increases across the world economy. People see it at the gas pumps, the grocery stores, and elsewhere. So, here's what we're going to do. A critical job in making sure that the elevated prices don't become entrenched rests with the Federal Reserve, which has a dual mandate: full employment and stable prices. The Federal Reserve provided extraordinary support during the crisis for the previous year and a half. Given the strength of our economy and the pace of recent price increases, it's appropriate, as the Federal Chairman, the Fed Chairman Powell has indicated, to recalibrate the support that is now necessary. I respect the Fed's independence, and I've nominated 5 superb individuals to serve on the Federal Board of Governors, men and women from a variety of ideological perspectives. They're eminently qualified, historically diverse, and have earned bipartisan praise. I call on the United States Senate to confirm them without any further delay. And here at the White House, and for my friends in Congress, the best thing to tackle high prices is a more productive economy with greater capacity to deliver goods and services to the American people. And a growing economy where folks have more choices and more small businesses compete and where more goods can get to market faster and cheaper. I've laid out a three-part plan to do just that. First, fix the supply chain. COVID-19 has had a global impact on the economy. When a factory shuts down in one part of the world, shipments to shops and homes and businesses all over the world are disrupted. COVID-19 has compounded that many times over. A couple of months ago, in this very room, we heard dire warnings about how the supply chain problems could create a real crisis around the holidays. So we acted. We brought together business and labor, and that much predicted crisis did not occur. 99% of the packages were delivered on time, and shelves were stocked. And notwithstanding the recent storms that have impacted many parts of our country, the share of goods in stock at stores is 89% now, which has barely changed from the 91% before the pandemic. I often see empty shelves being shown on television. 89% are full, which is only a few points below what it was before the pandemic. But our work's not done. My infrastructure law will supercharge your effort upgrading everything from roads and bridges to ports and airports, railways and transit, to make the economy move faster and reduce prices for families. Second thing, my Build Back Better plan will address the biggest cost of working families face every day. No other plan will do more to lower the cost for American families. It cuts the cost for childcare. Many families, including the people sitting in this room, if they have children and they're working full-time, many families pay up to $14,000 a year for childcare in big cities, less than that in smaller ones. My plan cuts that in half. That will not only be a game changer for so many families' budgets, but it will mean so much for the nearly 2 million women who've left the workforce during the pandemic because of things like childcare. My Build Back Better plan cuts the price of prescription drugs. So insulin, that today costs some people as much as $1,000 a month, will cost no more than $35 a month. It cuts the cost of elder care. It lowers energy cost. And it will do all this without raising a single penny in taxes on people making under $400,000 a year or raising the deficit. In fact, my plan cuts the deficit and it boosts the economy by getting more people into the workforce. That's why 17 Nobel Prize winners for economics say it will ease long-term inflationary pressure. The bottom line, if price increases are what you're worried about, the best answer is my Build Back Better plan. Third thing we're going to do, promote competition. Look, in too many industries, a handful of giant companies dominate the market in sectors like meat processing, railroad, shipping, and other areas. This isn't a new issue. It's not been the reason we've had high inflation today. It's not the only reason. It's been happening for a decade. But over time, it has reduced competition, squeezed out small businesses and farmers, ranchers, and increased the price for consumers. We end up with an industry like the meat processing industry, where 4 big companies dominate the markets. Pay ranchers less for their cattle they grow, charge consumers more for beef, hamburger meat, whatever they're buying. Prices are up. Look, I'm a capitalist, but capitalism without competition is not capitalism, it's exploitation. So I signed an executive order to tackle unfair competition in our economy, and we're going to continue to enforce it, along with working with Congress where we can. I'll close with this. We have faced some of the biggest challenges that we've ever faced in this country these past few years. Challenges to our public health, challenges to our economy. But we're getting through it. And not only are we getting through it, we're laying the foundation for a future where America wins the 21st century. by creating jobs at a record pace. Now we need to get inflation under control. We have developed an extraordinarily effective booster shots and antiviral pills. Now we need to finish the job to get COVID-19 under control. I've long said it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people or America. I believe that more than ever today. We've seen the grit and determination of the American people this past year. But the best days of this country are still ahead of us, not behind us.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. A lot unfolding right now, a lot of breaking news, and like I said, I'll keep you up to date here on the channel with what's going to be happening with stimulus, Build Back Better, the president, Ukraine and Russia. I'll keep you up to date. And also, keep an eye out for some more videos coming today on stimulus checks, as we've got word of more cities that are passing provisions for their residents. And like I said, I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. If you'd like to join the second channel, I'll pin a comment down below to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. Join the Steve Ram Finance channel. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.